Hi, this is Ben from 561 Music Podcast. Right now, we're trying to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. It just helps us get out there more. It also enables us to monetize the podcast, to make it better, do more advertising for it and things like that. Subscribe to the podcast and hit the notifications button. That would be doing us a really big favor. Thank you very much. Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
And how are you, sir?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I am chilling, man. So I know that you were a tiny bit late today because you were doing your Blue Sky Media stuff.
I was, man. I had an opportunity. There's a real estate office that has many branches across South Florida, and they just literally had their ribbon cutting tonight for a Palm Beach County office, and so I had the opportunity to go shoot it as an event, and so I did all the photography for it, and then it was a little bit at the ribbon cutting, and then a little bit at the after party at a place over on Clematis. And yeah, it was fun. It was really fun, and it was really good for me. I got to meet a ton of real estate agents. I passed out a ton of business cards. And hopefully I'll be a millionaire by this time next week. So,
Cross fingers.
We'll see.
We've been spending quite a lot of time in West Palm then, I guess, because we had an amazing gig this weekend. Didn't we?
We did, man. We played O'Shea's, and O'Shea's is one of the handful of spiritual homes that Killbillies has.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was incredibly just rich and full of people, and
it was. I was talking to Justin about
energetic. That was the
ago.
word I was looking for.
Yeah, it was. Because we play so much down here, you know, it's difficult to get everyone to come out all at the same time. But every now and again, you get that perfect storm where a bunch of different people all come to the same gig.
It was, and I think that's what it was. Is like we always play to a fairly reasonable, fun crowd, and there's a handful of people in the crowd that that really enjoy our stuff or follow us or whatever. But it was just like you said, this perfect storm. Like you literally, all you said was, "Hi, we're Killbillies, and we're going to play some songs for you." And the place went nuts, and everybody was clapping and cheering.
I wasn't expecting it at all because, when we play, we play a lot, and it means that sometimes you're just kind of a wall ornament, it's not necessarily that important.
Music.
So I kind of stepped up to the mic half expecting it to be like that, and the place erupted. I was like, okay, it's going to be that kind of party.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It was fun. It was very energetic that night, so it was fun. It was a good crowd.
Good times.
Crazy dancing women and stuff. It was fun.
And if you're watching this, it's a Friday, and you're feeling like a road trip, come and see us in Melbourne at Meg O'Malley's on Friday.
That's always a party.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's always. It's a trek. It's a little bit of a hike, but that's always a party.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I love playing Meg O'Malley's.
Yeah. No.
I write for this magazine called Livewire that's based out of Brevard County, and when we go up there, I've got to remember to have a look around and see if I can actually find some of these magazines, because they keep threatening to send me them, but they haven't yet. So I've yet to see a physical copy. So
that's happened to me like a handful of times with my art stuff. Magazines will write an article about me and my art, my street paintings and stuff, and then they're like, "And we'll send you a copy," and then I have to go out and find one and buy it. I think it's their way to get somebody to buy a copy. I don't know.
Maybe, I'm not sure. It's a pretty cool magazine though. If you listening, check it out. It's called Livewire. Yeah. I've been interviewing different local artists. My interviews are pretty similar to what we do on here, honestly. It's just how did you find yourself getting into music, and then just different questions to get a little bit more of an understanding about the artist.
Yeah, your last couple were pretty good. You had Kilted Mermaid article, and Abby Owens was the other one?
Abby Owens, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was totally awesome. So we've got Jordan Laurenti with us today. How's it going?
How's it going, guys?
It's going good, man. How you doing?
Everything's good.
Thanks for coming.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I think we have to address the elephant in the room, which is you have an amazing hat on.
Oh, thank you.
Is there a story behind this hat?
Story behind this hat. This is a brand new hat. I got it because all my other hats were all gross from playing outside in the swamp.
That's fair.
Same style though, same size. My head hasn't grown.
Well, that's a good thing.
I don't know. I was just kind of looking for a circus act, kind of identity at one point.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I want to stand out. And like, I don't know, I didn't see too many people out here wearing hats.
Yeah.
In Nashville, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was
Yeah.
like, all right. Tried it on like a live stream one night. And then I was like, oh, those views are going up. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So then.
No, it's a proper felt hat. I for years I wore like a nice felt pork pie down here, but eventually I put it down just because it gets so hot. You know, it was all right when I was younger and skinnier, but it got pretty.
You just
hot
picked
now.
one up while we were on tour, though. Didn't
I
you?
did, but it's made out of this amazing material, like
Bamboo or
Yeah, it's
something.
made out of bamboo, exactly.
Yeah, it's really like lightweight and airy.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I was
Yeah,
look.
yeah.
It's hard to find the right fit. This is like
Mhm.
a light felt, so it's like
Right.
water resistant. They say, but really,
No.
it's not.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But
When because if it rains on it, you end up with like drips and the dots for the drips never go away. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, it was actually raining on the way here, and I
Okay.
had to put it in a bag.
Gotcha.
I was like,
yeah.
nah, my new hat.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's TV debut. It would be a shame if it got ruined.
Yes, exactly.
All right, let's get into a little bit more serious then. I'll start asking you some questions about music. When you were growing up, did you have a supportive family when it comes to music?
You could say so. Yeah, my family, like, we grew up in church,
Right.
so it was like very like gospel music, Christian 90s stuff like that.
Yeah.
Our church was like very lively, so organs going, bass is going. Everyone's taking turns on the solos, and
Oh, that sounds like
you
fun.
know, yeah.
Did you play in church?
I played in the youth group,
Right.
guitar.
Yeah, wicked.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I know got a lot out of church in their early years, formative years as a musician. I know I did. I no longer go to church, but I'm definitely thankful for the all of the like the groups I got to play in and things like that. You know, when I was young, I ended up going around churches in Venice singing in a choir and stuff. It was amazing.
wow.
I did loads of cool stuff with the church. Yeah, it's rad. So, what were your some of your like, sort of early musical influence? Like, what were your parents listening to when you were young?
So my parents didn't really let me listen to like secular music. So
Right.
it was like all like, you know, DC Talk,
okay.
Newsboys, Delirious, like
Right.
Jars of Clay stuff.
Okay.
And then someone like started, like some of my earlier friends started showing me like the Beatles and like
Yeah.
Pink Floyd and
Yeah, there you
stuff
go.
like that. But my sister had like a John Mayer CD
Right.
and she had a Dave Matthews.
On the DL.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
DL. And I remember hearing like Dave Matthews. I was like, that's just so pretty. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, his voice and how they get that pretty guitar sound. And I was like, I like that. I'm going to
Yeah.
try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wicked.
So,
So you also go by J Bay, right?
yes.
Yeah.
yes.
So when you release stuff as just a you on an acoustic guitar, is that still released as J Bay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes people ask me like, oh, do you want me to put Jordan? Or
Right. Right.
I'm like, you know what? Follow your heart.
Okay. Got it.
I don't know. Like, because it's like, okay, this is what I picked. So this is what I got to go with.
Yeah. Sure. It's
So,
cool too. Is
just
there a
gotta-
story behind it?
Yeah, so J Bay is actually a world-renowned surfing spot
Oh, right.
in Africa,
Okay.
South Africa. I don't know if you saw a couple years ago, there's this video of this surfer punching the shark. It's like-
Oh yeah. I
He
know what
like
you're talking about.
punches the shark, but that's
Yeah.
where it was. But
Oh, wild.
I went on like a missionary group with my church
Right.
when I was like 18.
Okay.
We were like handing out blankets, food, yada yada, and then we ended up staying down there. It was like more of like a beachy town. And
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this beach is so beautiful. It's called Jeffrey's Bay.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was thinking about my cousin. His name is Jeffrey, and he's had a hard life with like physical crap and whatever.
Right.
And so I was like, you know what? This is so beautiful. I want to name my project after this. Because at the time, I was like, what should it be? What should I be? You know?
Sure. It's always a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something clicked in me, and I was like, you know what? It's short, sweet.
Yeah, and it's got the J for Jordan.
Yeah. Some people think it's Jordan. So
Yeah.
I'm like, nope.
Close. That's a cool name. So yeah, I was just checking out your listens on Spotify, and you've got quite a few on that sort of J Bay name on your tracks. When did the record come out that you released on Spotify?
I
this time?
believe that one came out in 2021.
Okay.
It was like we made it during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it was like always like, oh, come in. Actually, you can't come in to the studio. Actually, come just finish this one thing, and then I'll see you guys in like 3 months. And it was
Oh,
like
man.
always just like, I just want this out. I don't even care anymore. But
Yeah, really. So who's we when you say we?
okay, so me and my old drummer Will Kropfeld.
Yeah.
He played like cajon for me for a lot of shows. So we got together in, I think, Saturn Sound Studios.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know if it's still around.
Downtown West
Yeah,
Palm?
it was downtown West Palm.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's pretty cool. I heard Dave Matthews did some like recording
It's
there.
been there
and,
for
like,
forever, since I was like 18 or something.
Oh,
It's been
right.
there. It's been there forever.
yeah, it was like my first like West Palm studio experience.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, we did that. It was kind of just like, you know, getting our feet wet a little bit. Let's, you know, I wrote these songs. I was like, let's just do stuff. So we
Yeah.
hired like a pianist. He like wrote some scores for it. And,
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, he like came in the studio, had like the whole like score sheets and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
He's like, oh, so I wrote this part for your song. And I was like, dude, thank you. Like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's really cool. And I think we had like an electric guitarist come in and do some parts. I was like, I would have done this, but my friend's just like, no, we hired this other person, blah, blah, blah. We had a violinist come in and do a song.
Wicked.
So it was cool.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
And then I was like, kind of like, okay, that's how it sounds with everyone. There's no going back. It's just out now. But now I've been kind of like trying to like hone in more of like an original, like self-producing, self-writing, a little less more people on the project,
Sure.
if possible.
We can relate to that actually as a band because we the last thing that we brought out, we really wanted it to sound like when we play live, you know, because there's a Killbillies album out that there was just a ton of people in the band at the time, and you know, we were selling that, and it doesn't sound anything like what you're actually watching, even though it's the same band and a few of the same songs. It's like accordion on there and mandolin and all this kind of stuff that we don't have anymore. So we wanted to make something representative, and I think, you know, that it's only really fair if someone sees you play and then they're like, oh, have you got, you know, where's your music, that you actually have some music that represents what you do.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you play out live, what's your what kind of are you almost always solo?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I have I was playing with that drummer for about a year.
It's just you and a drummer?
Yeah, it was me and a drummer. I've experimented a little bit with like bass players, guitarists. It's just at one point I was in a few, like a couple months ago I tried to be in like an 80s rock cover band.
Right.
You know, that was just kind of like I was doing my solo stuff and doing that band, so I was like, I have no voice left at the end of the week.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
I hear
you're
that.
like screaming all week, and then go your solo shows, you're like, I have no steam left.
Yeah, totally.
But one day maybe I'll have more people in it. But it's just, you know, you want to find someone serious as you're serious.
Yeah.
Can we meet up and
absolutely.
practice? Sometimes it was like the distance. It's like, oh, well, I live in Loxahatchee and I live in Boynton. It's like, I guess we're going to be driving all week, or like.
It's easier said than done, man. Getting band members who are all on the same page and all want the same thing out of it, and who you're also friends with, is tough. You know, I feel like
totally.
I've spent my whole life trying to find that, and only just recently got it. You know.
Yeah. Easier said than done.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it is.
You gotta definitely be, you know, with the distance that you gotta be committed. I've been in all sorts of bands where people have been spread out really far, and it's hard, man. And even Killbillies, I've just only recently in the last few months moved up down the road here.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm 3 minutes from James, our banjo player, and maybe 15 minutes from Ben. But I lived in like southern western West Palm,
like Royal Palm.
Yeah, Royal Palm.
Yeah, that's out there too.
You know, and he lives in Jupiter, and so it was like if we got together, it was a 45-minute trek to get to his house. I mean,
Yeah,
it was a big deal, you know.
To like devote the whole day.
Yeah,
to it.
Yeah,
It was a
exactly.
big deal.
Yeah, I remember you were when the first time we played Colonies, you were like, oh yeah, it's just right around the corner from my house. And for some reason I thought to myself, oh, that means it's near. It took me like down there an hour to get there.
Right. Yes, yeah, it was close to my house.
Yeah. Totally.
Now when we play Connolly's, it's not close to my house. But so many other places are close to my house, which was like a very nice,
including
very nice
the beach.
side project.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. So where do you live exactly?
So right now I'm in Boynton Beach.
Right.
Okay.
Are you Floridian? Are you from down here?
Originally from Long Island.
Okay, where in
Yeah.
Long Island?
So it's smack dab in the middle of the island.
Right. My wife's from Oyster Bay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Patchogue, Medford.
Right.
Yeah, it's like right in the middle. Sometimes people used to like crack jokes like, "Oh, there's still people this way." It's
Right.
like not close to the city, but not like close to the Hamptons. It's like right in the middle.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
And what prompted the move?
So I was just like found myself like, alone in a room, freezing my ass off, and like listening to Mumford Sons' "Sigh No More" album, and I was just like, this is so sad and depressing. I gotta like change it up.
Yeah.
That I was getting away from like some toxic situations.
Gotcha.
So it was around that point where I was like, all right, my dad had moved down here probably like 5 years prior.
Oh, okay.
I visited him for like Thanksgiving one year, and I was like, you know what? Took a drive around Clematis, and I was like, this has potential.
Yeah,
this has potential. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot.
I don't know what it's like in New York, but I know where I'm from. It's not an easy thing to make money as a musician. And it's not that it's easy here, but it's a lot easier. There's places to play, and you can lead this kind of relatively comfortable life playing 3-4 hour gigs, a few times a week. Did you find that it was easier to get gigs
down here than New York? Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I felt like I took music more seriously once I started getting more gigs.
Right.
I've always was like headstrong, like, oh yeah, I'm the best. I was like just early in my 20s, like, why aren't they booking me? I'm awesome.
How old are you now?
Oh, I'm 34.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So then I'd be like, I'm awesome. Why aren't you booking me? And then I'd like look at some footage from back then. I'm like, okay, maybe that's why. But
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I played. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. And then like basically once I started getting like I hosted a few open mics down here, one on Clematis.
Oh, nice.
And like I started getting my feet wet a little more, playing more and more. I was like, okay, now I kind of got a little better. Let me see what I could get.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say, I played, I was in a Nirvana tribute band, and we played up in New York a few times, and I feel like the scene in New York, first of all, it's like super saturated with musicians, but I also feel like because it's saturated with musicians, maybe, the venues just don't want to pay, or they're like tips only, or they're door deals and stuff like that, or the very low guarantees, not like around here where you can get a solid guarantee for playing in a band.
Yeah, like we'll write you the check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime I've ever played in Manhattan or in Brooklyn, it's always been, we're one of many bands on a bill.
Yeah.
On a street with many venues that all had many bands in them that night, you know, and there's just so much going on that you just get lost in the shuffle.
Well, we played New York a few times, and a couple of times we did okay. It was like door deals, and we did okay because it was a good crowd. But I mean, it was a crapshoot and a gamble. We're flying all the way up there. We're spending the money to get there. There's all this expense, and staying in Manhattan is not cheap. There's all this expense and stuff. And Justin will tell you, we had a show. It was actually one of Justin's first shows, if not his first show, that he joined and became our Kurt Cobain. And like literally like 2 weeks later, I'm like, so we're going to New York, and pack your stuff, let's go. But we got there, and we had played this venue before. It's Fontana's. It's not there anymore, but we had played this venue before, and there was a ton of people the first time we went there. And so we took a gamble and did it again, and it was a door deal. And I think we walked away with like $50 that night, and we had spent money on airline tickets and a place to stay, and like taxis and whatever. Like it was brutal.
A problem,
brutal.
Yeah, that's a lot. I'm not going to say I've never played good shows in New York, but they've always been. Killbillies has never played a really good show in New York. We've done okay, but Sonic Boom 6 had some fun there because ska punk scene. Sure. Do you know where the Knitting Factory is? Have you heard of that place? Yeah. We played there a few times. That was always great. So when it comes to your music, your style of music, would you say that you have any kind of influences on, like, stylistically in terms of the way you play? Who are some of your favorite sort of acts?
Oh, my favorite acts. I'm a big Radiohead fan.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Grew up on the Dave Matthews, the John Mayer, like Jason Mraz. I like a lot of composers.
Yeah.
Right now, I've been getting into like Olafur Arnalds.
Cool.
I like Tom York solo stuff.
Yeah, man.
Like Ben Harper.
Yeah.
Big fan of The Tallest Man on Earth.
Yeah.
He's got that folky, like chill vibe.
Absolutely.
Anything that just sounds really pretty with like a male voice on it.
Even
a female voice, but just like when you're like, wow, that's pretty. I feel something.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. And I was a lot of those artists I was I was big into when I was a teenager, like Ben Harper. I went to see him when he played Bristol when I was about 16. I
Nice.
used to love him. It's a long time ago now. Yeah, how long ago is that now? 25 years?
He
Jeez.
played Sunfest a couple years back.
Right.
He was playing his like lap guitar. I was like
Yeah.
freaking out. I
Feel
was
like
right
a
there.
Weissenberger or something like that.
So sick.
Yeah, yeah.
Really good at it too. I was like, wow.
Yeah, definitely. He does Voodoo Child on there. So awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I used to love Ben Harper back in the day, and Radiohead was big for me, huge. Like, you know, I was saying to you earlier that one of the first, they're probably the first band that I got into when it comes to my own taste in music. Like, you know, I'd had stuff spoon-fed to me by my parents, but then, you know, when I was kind of 12, 13 and really getting into music for myself, Radiohead were really important to me for sure. And I got this Thinking About You EP, which it was before Pablo Honey was out, so it was a really long time ago. It was on cassette, and it has a really weird electric version of that song Thinking About You on there. And I guess I kind of went off the boil with Radiohead around OK Computer. I loved OK Computer, and I liked the albums after it, Kid A and everything. But it just kind of, when it started going a lot more electronic, for me personally, I just feel like other people can do that better than they can. I kind of liked it when there's a bit more of a rock fusion, you know, rock in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hear now their rumor is that they're done now.
Really?
Well, they have the side project, The Smile.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. It's just Tom, Johnny, and Nigel. They're like producer.
Gotcha.
And rumor has it that no more Radiohead.
Oh,
but
wow.
I'm not saying anything. But I'm such a Radiohead nerd though. Like I'm in like the Facebook group.
Yeah,
and I'm friends
wicked.
with like so many of those people that like run the group.
That's awesome.
So I'm like always like talking, like we always send each other memes or whatever it is, anything Radiohead. It's just
That's cool, man.
But
yeah, I absolutely loved them as a teenager and still do. You know, they've definitely had a bit of effect on me. We play Fake Plastic Trees in Killbillies because it kind of translates. Did you ever hear the version by Trampled by Turtles? It's like they're like a bluegrassy type of a band.
It's a very folky version almost.
Yeah.
Do they do a lot of like different spin-off like versions? Like different songs, or it's just that song?
It's just that song.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure they do other covers,
Yeah.
but their main thing is
The originals.
yeah, they're just an original band.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, for our 3-4 hour gigs, it's fun to find songs that sound unusual with like a banjo and a stand-up player.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you play a lot of those kind of gigs, don't you? The 3-4 hour kind of around town.
Mostly 3 hours, the lucky number.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get even luckier and get 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love those.
Yeah. So how when you play those kind of sets, what do you play originals mixed in with the other songs?
Every once in a while, sometimes I'm guilty and I don't,
Right.
because I'm like, they're not even paying attention anyway, or
Right,
like
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
But
it
every once in a
happens.
while, I'm like, haha, you didn't know I just played like 3 originals.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like, you know.
Yeah, totally.
But I honestly, I should more. People say I should. What do
Yeah.
you guys think?
You'd be
absolutely.
surprised. You'd be surprised how many places we play that we slip originals in, and it's like, they clap or they cheer, they have a good time, and we're like, all right, do you guys want to hear another original? And they're like, yeah, do it. I mean,
Awesome.
you'd be surprised how receptive people are to it. But as long as you're not up there playing like complete garbage or whatever, I mean, people are pretty receptive to new stuff. You
Yeah.
wouldn't think they are, but they are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say 9 times out of 10 that they'd prefer it, frankly.
Yeah.
Unless they're super drunk and all they want to hear is like, I don't know,
Three Doors
Sweet
Down.
Home Alabama.
Yeah.
Superman.
Wow, I
Yeah.
couldn't even remember the name of Sweet Home Alabama.
It was funny. I was playing this gig. It was the Marriott in Fort Lauderdale, like during the boat show that whole time, and it's just like these young dudes. They were like look like hillbilly dudes with the beards and like whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Can you play an original though?" And then I played one. They're like, "Can you play another one?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll do another one." And then they're like, "We'll give you $50 if you play more." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, called their bluff, huh?
So cool though. They were just
Yeah.
like, "We want to hear your original stuff." And then it
No,
started hitting me
that's
like,
awesome.
you know what? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Start
and
playing
and
this
that's
more.
That's
Mhm.
the thing, man. You start slipping them in there more and more, and especially venues that you're a repeat offender at. You start slipping those originals in more and more, and people start recognizing them, and that's money right there, man. When you're playing an original, like now I joined Killbillies about 2 years ago, so there's a lot of originals that Killbillies has that I wasn't a part of in the writing process, but there's a handful of them now that I have been a part of
Nice.
in the writing process, and so so especially those songs for me, when we play those out and I start recognizing some faces in the crowd that I've seen at that venue before, and they're singing along with the chorus or something. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's a win for
Yeah,
sure.
dude,
Yeah.
yeah, for
And
real.
it's a little bit of a back door into, you know, playing your originals out live and finding an audience for them, you know, because you're getting paid as entertainment for the bar, but you know, you're also getting to, because a lot of the original shows, as you know, it's difficult to, you know, get people to pony up for, you know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
find yourself playing for peanuts for those kind of gigs.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah,
with 12 other bands.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a nice little shortcut, you know, a little hack.
What's like if you had to just pull a cover out of a hat, what do you feel is like one of your most requested covers? And follow-up question, which is the one that you hate to play the most?
Oh God. So it used to like irk me every once in a while playing like Brown Eyed Girl.
Yeah.
I still play it now, but I mean, someone like really like lost their shit on me because I didn't know how to play it at the time.
Oh,
Oh,
Like,
man.
what do you mean you don't know?
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
I just don't like. I know the song, I just
right,
don't know how to play it.
happens.
Some people get really mad about the stuff like
Oh
that.
God,
dude.
livid.
'Cause I don't know. I don't know American Pie all the way through, and if someone comes up and asks us to play it and we don't know how to play it, the looks you get for that, they're just like, "You don't know American Pie."
But we play like you know, bluegrass, Americana, Celtic kind of stuff. And somebody at O'Shea's the other night came up and said, "Do you know? Can you guys play Stairway to Heaven?" And we're like, "No." And she looked at us like we were crazy because we didn't know how to play it. But it was like, it's not us.
yeah, I mean, I guess we could have creaked our way through it, but it would have been a little
It would've
embarrassing.
been- yeah.
Lately, I've been getting Tennessee whiskey. Can you play Tennessee whiskey?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
that.
great dude, love the guy. Just some songs are just like I'm like
Yeah.
I'll get to it when I get to it, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, some songs I'm like right now I'm learning the Tom Petty song "Last Dance with Mary Jane."
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this I can learn. This is kind of like a little feel to it,
got a little groove to it,
little
yeah.
groove.
I'm
all
teaching
right.
someone that right now, actually, and I was thinking, why don't we play this? You know, it's literally verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse,
Yeah,
chorus,
yeah.
end.
It's a good song.
And then I just got my harmonica now, and I was like, you know, like.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
I was like, all right, now I'm making a little bit fun now.
Do you use your harmonica when you play live?
Not really, no.
No.
I have, but I gotta.
Yeah,
Brush
me too.
up.
I've gone in and out of it. You know, I did the whole thing, bought a bazillion different ones, and the head thing and all that stuff. Then I used it for a bit, and then I was just like,
Yeah.
it's just always in my face all the time. It was annoying.
I want to do it, and I have the neck thing, but I hate wearing it. So I don't want to do that. So I've been looking for. We had a guest one time that had an attachment that came off the side of the mic stand, like a little extra boom.
Oh wow.
And it had a harmonica clip to it. It was like a magnetic thing.
Micah
And
had
it said-
one.
yeah, and then when they wanted it, they just moved it in front of the mic and
That's
used it.
cool.
And when they didn't want it, they moved it out from. And I was like, this would be perfect. You know that the company like went out of business, so they don't make it. And so, like, I can find one here or there, like used on eBay, but they're like where they were like $30, they're like $200 now because
Yeah.
nobody has them.
Almost worth just making your own.
I'm gonna have to just like figure it out.
See,
and
I
engineer
had one
my
go
own.
like rogue on me once, the ones that hold on your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just like popped out
Ugh.
and like shot me in the face. It's like I didn't know this was dangerous. But yeah.
That's
It's-
great.
I heard they're good for your lungs though, like your voice and like all
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah,
know,
absolutely.
I
I'll
do
get your
enjoy
voice.
playing it. So
Yeah, all
Yeah.
that kind of breath control types. Like I play a lot of saxophone and flute and things. Yeah, it's all really good for your voice. Like, have you, on the subject of things that are good for your voice, have you ever had any music lessons?
I had very little lessons.
Right.
Early in life, like someone taught me like a few chords, and then my buddy Ryan Welsh taught me like a C scale
Okay.
on guitar. But usually just like YouTube,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that. Friends showing me like,
Sure.
oh, this is a chord.
Yeah.
But yeah, just other like
Picked it up along the way.
yeah, picked it up along the way pretty much.
Yeah.
Little
So-
theory here and there.
On the subject of that, would you say that you sit at home and practice your instrument much?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
At one point, I was working a full-time job for a couple of years, and then they relocated. And they're like, "You want to come to the middle of nowhere?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah.
And then I was like, I think since last September, I've been full-time doing gigs.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, this is full-time. I got to actually set up the gear in my room,
Yeah.
work it like a regular job. You
Yeah,
know?
for sure. That's
Take a little breaks here and there. Okay, eat some lunch, back to work, and then you know,
nice.
try to punch out at like 5, 6.
Yeah,
and
okay.
find myself at like late at night putting on TV, but still kind of like dabbling and.
Yeah.
So how many
stuff like
gigs do you
that.
say you play a week roughly?
On average, like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also the seasons like could get.
Yeah, it gets
hectic,
crazy in the
yeah.
season. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say we're 2 or 3 too. I mean, I'm 2 or 3. You have 1 or 2, I would say, right?
Well, right. Yeah. It seems like I have, like last weekend I had 1, this weekend I have 1, so I have weekends with 1. I have weekends with 4. You
Yeah,
know?
that's
like
true,
it just
yeah.
depends. You
Yeah,
know?
that's true.
We were just looking at, I don't even know what weekend it was, but there was a weekend that was in question for something for my family or whatever. And I was like, oh no, it was the lady that came to see us in Atlanta, Sally.
Yeah.
She has the street painting festival up there. And I was like, I can't. And she's like, oh, you're gigging? You can't just cancel that one gig. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not one. Like we literally have like a gig. If I recall correctly, we have a gig like that Thursday, that Friday, 2 on Saturday, and one on Sunday.
Gosh.
Like it's a
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
weekend for us.
That's awesome.
And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, we're booked pretty far out in advance. It's quite a nice.
That's awesome.
It's funny because for me, having been doing this as I'd say it's about 50-50 teaching and playing right now.
Yeah.
But at one point it was my sole source of income. And when I was, I spent so long it not being a sure thing. So when I see like 6 months of gigs booked in advance, for me, I'm just like, oh, I feel like you and James, you're just like, oh God, like looms out ahead of you.
No, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't mind having, like a ton of gigs on the books. Like it's nice because it is a part of my income right now. I
Yeah.
mean, it has
Yeah.
become a part of my income, and so it's nice to see that. The only issue I ever have with it is that it's not just me. Like for James, it's just James, but for me, it's not. It's like I have a wife and I have kids, and so suddenly something gets sprung on me, and it's like, oh, cousin Billy Bob Joe is getting married on this particular weekend, and I'm like, crap, I have 9 gigs on that Saturday, just on that Saturday.
Okay.
So that's where, and then I feel bad having to tell you guys like what just happened with this festival thing out in Vegas.
You're going to When We Were Young, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to the When We Were Young festival, and like that just
okay.
out
yeah,
in
that's-
Vegas. Yeah,
yeah.
so
More
what
power to you. It sounds like a circle of hell.
so my wife, yeah, they probably will be. My wife was put on a waiting list for tickets, and I thought when she said she was on the waiting list, I thought that meant that like if tickets came up, they would notify us. Apparently her credit card was on file, and like the way it worked was if tickets came up, like they just charged you and that was it, no refunds, you have the tickets. And so suddenly she texts me, we were on tour I think, and she texted me and said, hey, so we have tickets for When We Were Young. I'm like, great, when is it? She gives me the weekend that it is. It's like in October or something, and we have like 2 or 3 gigs that weekend. And I'm like, well, crap. And I I don't want to cancel the gigs and cancel out on these guys, but at the same time, like, she bought tickets for me and my son and my daughter and herself.
Wow, yeah.
So it's like $1,400 worth of tickets, plus we have to fly there, and
So I guess you're out of the band.
basically. So they're replacing me with
what's
with a tuba.
Am I allowed to say what you might be doing when you go out there?
Oh yeah. Well, it's our 25th wedding anniversary this year. So
happy anniversary.
yeah, we just hit 25 years in July, and so
That's beautiful.
We didn't do a whole lot. We just life gets in the way, and we were just busy and stuff, and we just had like a nice dinner or whatever. And we were gonna do a big trip this year, and it just didn't work out. So we have a big trip planned for next year, but in Vegas, we're actually going to go to one of the rock and roll wedding chapel or something.
Nice.
Yeah, and we're having a Kurt Cobain impersonator marry us and
It'd be funny to see
renew our vows. Yeah, it'd be hilarious. Justin, and renew our vows. So I think it's going to be hilarious. And she's going to wear like some sort of Tool wedding something dress or whatever.
Oh, cool.
And then we're going to do it like first thing in the morning on that Saturday, and then go to the festival.
Man, you can't fail but to have fun.
Dressed in our wedding garb.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
That's
that
great.
lineup is crazy.
Oh,
too.
it's
Jeez.
sick. It's sick.
Something for everyone there.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a hoax, and it's just going to turn out to be one of those fake festivals.
Fire festival.
Fire festival, like Fry Festival or whatever. Fire.
It's just with a Y.
Fire, yeah. I feel like it's going to be like that. Like, we're going to get out there, spend all this money, and then they're going to be like, just kidding.
Yeah.
It's got like 2 guys with a banjo, and like, that's it.
It's like so many names on that lineup. It's like, how are you going to do it? And I heard like the stage is going to like spin.
Oh, wow.
So like, That's what I heard.
Yeah.
But like the stage spins, and then it's like a new act on this stage, and then the other, it keeps spinning, and like the next act.
Yeah,
is on.
I've been trying to figure out, like, like if you go to their website and you try to look up things like how many stages there are and like, the schedule for the lineup, all of that is all pending, quote unquote, and so that's what scares me, is that everything's pending. And so I'm like, well, we just gave you $1,400 and we just bought airline tickets, and we just secured.
Didn't give you $1,400 for pending.
Right.
Yeah,
and we bought airline tickets, and we secured a hotel room at $400 a night. So I would like a little more than just pending.
That's pretty funny. Tell you what, though, no matter what happens, you'll have a good time. The family's all going.
It'll be fun, man.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
So I was going to ask you, when it comes to writing songs, do you have a process? Like, how do you find yourself writing them?
More lately, it's been like pick a topic that's inspiring. So I was looking at some bugs, some like beetles, and they were iridescent. So I was like, all right, I like this idea. I like iridescent animals, colors. I want to know, so I did my research. So I'll pick like a word that hits me. Then I'll go into the dictionary and find everything that's affiliated with that word.
Okay.
From there, how can I make this come out?
Yeah.
So.
And then does it, when it comes to lyrical content within that, do you find yourself, is there a kind of a subject matter that you lean towards more often than not? Like, do you tend towards sort of a lot of love songs, or is it just
I'd say it's like, I try to be more encouraging now, to be more of like be of use to society.
Right.
But all my older stuff is mostly like love songs, breakup songs. But now I'm like, okay, how can I like use my power? So like, how can this help someone, instead of like
right on,
just like, oh, my heart's broken, or like
powers for good.
So do you ever, I mean, I know you did because we talked a little bit about it before, but you have a home setup, don't you, for recording?
So I've been working on this setup. It's a work in progress still, but it's just I'm running out of Studio One right now, and I have just got a compressor. It's like an analog compressor.
Oh, right. Sick.
Yeah, it's the Pro VLA 2.
Okay.
It's like, they use it in like radio stations.
Yeah,
and,
nice.
Just like an audio interface, nothing too crazy. And just got the new Mac Mini.
Oh, sweet.
So I was like tired of my laptop crashing, like in between songs or glitching. And my cousin Cody was like, dude, get the Mac Mini. You won't have that problem again. So...
Yeah, I've got a pretty heavyweight Mac too, and it just takes a lot of weight off your mind. It just runs fine.
Yeah, turn it on. It's like, hello.
Yep.
So it's been helping the workflow. Like, there's nothing I hate more than you just start working and it's just like, nope, it's not loading. You're not doing anything today.
Yeah, for real. So when it comes to writing, would you say that, do you ever put chords together on the computer and then just run it and try and figure lyrics out over the top?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I do that too.
I'm like, if these sound pretty, then I could turn it into a song.
Yeah.
Do you
even
if
use
it's
your looper like that sometimes as well?
Oh, yeah. That's the hard part with practicing with a looper. You're like, find yourself just like...
Yeah, 3 hours later.
Yeah. And back to my set list. There we go.
For real.
Exactly.
They're like experimenting with delays and like in some kind of dub space world, and then come back to Earth. He's like, okay, I've done nothing
layers.
with it.
Exactly.
Cool, man. So do you play any other instruments other than the guitar?
So I can play piano a little bit.
Right.
Grew up playing the trumpet.
Yeah.
In school and stuff, but I can only probably play a scale right now, like the C scale on a trumpet.
Gotcha.
But dabbled a little bit with the banjo.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
Nothing too crazy, but usually it's always been guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I feel like it does help to be able to bust that a little bit out on the piano, because you can see it laid down in front of you. And it
exactly.
Yeah,
I think like when you sing, the piano like holds the tone stronger, so it's easier to like put your voice to the piano tones.
Yeah.
The guitars are strings, and they're always like a little off by a few cents or whatever. The piano's like always constant.
Yep.
So it's like when I sing, I feel it's like, we want your voice, come to us. Instead of the guitar where I'm like putting my voice to it.
Okay.
So
that makes sense
like
to me.
it pulls it out a little more.
Yeah.
I enjoy sitting and playing the piano and singing. I have an acoustic piano in my living room.
Nice.
And that's really just for fun. I don't use it for anything other than just if people come round, you can sit around and jam out on the piano.
It's always nice just transposing guitar chords to like piano chords, and you're like, it's actually stupid simple.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely, man. So when it comes to your social media presence and the way that you market yourself online, do you do all of that yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You say it's quite a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. I mean, you could do it as your full-time job if you really wanted to.
Yeah, really. Yeah,
But
exactly.
I actually got a little bump in my, I guess, engagement, you could say.
Yeah.
This dude, Adam Ivy, I don't know if you've ever seen him, or like Damian Keys. They're like basically like coaches, like, oh, you want to get your music, blah, blah,
gotcha.
blah. So I was like, let me give this dude a shot. He was like talking a bunch. So it was like called the 20 Days of Focus.
Yeah.
So every day you post a cover or content. Under that cover, you would post 20 hashtags. Then you go into those hashtags and you press it and you're like, all right, who are all the other people using this hashtag? You go in and you try to engage with 5 of those people. So if someone hashtag acoustic guitar,
Oh, wow.
I'd go down like, okay, hey man, cool video. Engage with 5 people. So you do that with all of those 20 hashtags. So basically you're making like 200 engagements a day, which was a lot of work at the time. And I would sit there with my notebook, okay, I did 1, did 2, did 3. But I mean, in like the 2 weeks time, the 20 days, I got like 150 followers.
Yeah, wow.
All organically, and I'm still friends with some of them now.
Yeah.
And like I was telling you before, this kid from the Netherlands, I don't even remember his name exactly, but he took one of those songs and shared it, and still getting plays to this day, like my Spotify song. And he's from the 20 Days of Focus.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
he had a big playlist, threw it on there. And like, you know, I'm still friends with a lot of those people. So I did that about 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Sick.
I remember once I did a cover of a Dashboard Confessional song. Dashboard actually liked it
Wow.
and was like, dude, I have the same guitar as you.
That's
And
dope.
that was like a little jazz master
Yeah.
Fender, and I was like so blown away. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, really. That's
Legend just commented on this. But that's, you know, that made my day, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just always feel like in general, like if you put the work in,
yeah.
you're sitting there working, opportunity's gonna come. It's just
Yep.
like call and answer. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm
Exactly.
like, I have no gigs, and I'm just like, well, whatever, I'm just gonna practice. I always
Yeah.
get a phone call in a day
Yeah,
or
man.
2 somehow. So that's my theory on it.
No, it's a good one. And that 20 Days of Focus sounds like a really good idea. So I'm going to try and persuade Hector to do that.
I was just about to say, thanks for that, Jordan. That just became my job this week.
Only kidding.
Damn it.
It makes you think of it more of like, okay, I'm a business, I'm a service.
Sure.
Let me, you know, which I don't like to do with my music, but that's what you got to do if
You
you
have
want
to.
to make some income and
Yeah.
market yourself a little bit. So
There's this fine line, and it's unfortunate, but there is this fine line that you have to walk between, you know, the creative side of it and treating it like a business. You know, I do street paintings and street art and 3D street art and stuff like that, and I've been doing it less and less lately because as I've been getting older, I'm starting to realize that it's just beating the crap out of my body. But for years, it was just this crazy dance on this fine line of, you know, I want to get out there and do the work. And so I would get out, you know, I would have all these crazy cool gigs, and I'd get out there and I'd do all this crazy cool art for all these huge, ginormous mega companies. And then, but while I was doing that, I wasn't doing anything to market myself or do anything like that. And then all of a sudden I'd hit this dry spell because I'd have no work. And then I'd hustle and I'd get a bunch of work, and then I'd go out and do it again. And then suddenly I hit another dry spell. So there's
Yeah.
always this stupid dance you have to do on this line
totally.
between wanting to be creative, but having to like push the business side of it. Otherwise you're
Yep.
not making money. And
No, it's it. You know, getting your first few jobs is easy. It's getting consistent work that's the hard
Yeah.
thing. You know,
Yeah,
it's keeping
yeah.
it going, especially through the summer and all that stuff. But yeah, I think now would be a great time to hear some of your songs, seeing as you've
Cool.
talked about them. Sound
Let's
good?
do it. Yeah.
All
Cool.
right.
What if I didn't choose to change it? Would we be in different places? She was out to steal my graces. You were lying to my face, and I'm weary of these situations. ever escape them? What if I didn't choose to change it? Would we be in different places? I said I wanna get my life right. The answer's closer than a sharper knife. All these thoughts seem to torment. You say you love me, it's just in a moment, in a moment, in a moment we'll be gone. Living underneath the sewers, feeling like such a loser. Maybe someone will find me, thinking the sun could blind me. And now I'm climbing towards the surface. Maybe I should crack the curtains. What if I didn't choose to change it? Would we be in different places? I said I wanna get my life right. The answer's closer than a sharper knife. All these thoughts seem to torment. You say you love me, it's just in a moment, in a moment, in a moment we'll be gone. She said I'm not happy, I don't wanna try, but we're not compatible, and people fall out of love all the time. I wanted to reason, I wanted to fight, so I shared my feelings. I'd do anything to make this right. I said I wanna get my life right. The answer's closer than a sharper knife. All these thoughts seem to torment. You said you loved me, it's just in a moment, in a moment, in a moment we'll be gone. You need a light, need a spark. You got a chrysalis heart. You're living in the dark. You can't press restart. Your phone's so dry. It's just you and your mind. Your heart's in the street. It only beats when you sleep. You need a break, need a breeze from negativity. You're lost in the depths. When does the pressure end? Your arms outstretched and you can't find a friend. Nothing but regrets, and soon you forget. You are iridescent. You are the crescent moon. When I'm driving on the dark, dark roads in the desert, I'll go forever. I'm on a dark, dark road. What a shame, what a waste of the love I gave. I'm gonna go for a skate. I'm gonna burn some sage. The apartment's trashed, and when time did pass, all I learned is I was living a lie. You never stood by my side. I think I'm gonna change my plates. Then I'm gonna cut my hair. Then I'm gonna leave the state. No more feeling low or upset. Whatever you do, don't forget. You are iridescent. You are the crescent moon. When I'm driving on a dark, dark road in the desert, I'll go forever. I'm on a dark, dark road.
.561 Music is brought to you by Handlebars Bar and Grill. It's a biker bar in Tequesta, and if you're driving up US 1, you come across it on the right-hand side. It's a little bar there. It's bright yellow. You can't miss it with the handlebars on the sign. And it has a long and storied history. It's been there. It used to be called Judy's, and it was run by this guy Victor, who sadly passed this year, R.I.P. Victor. And then my father-in-law took it over, and he's doing a great job up there. There is a bike night every second Thursday of the month, and there is a jam every fourth Sunday of the month. If you're interested in that kind of thing, it's just an all-inclusive, any kind of music, any style, any ability type of a jam. And there's great beers on tap, and they're wonderful food. Bernsey, the chef, does a fantastic job. If you're interested in classic cars or classic bikes, there's always that kind of stuff hanging around there. It attracts that sort of a crowd because it's called Handlebars Bar and Grill, so it makes sense. And yeah, you should come swing by. It's definitely a local spot and has a lot of character. And there's people who have been going there for decades and decades. It's one of those places that's a part of the furniture in Tequesta, and you should definitely come check it out. I booked the music for the place and love doing it, and I was a part of helping set the place up, and I'm a huge fan, and anyone who is interested in biker bars, or even if you've just never been to one and you're curious about what a biker bar is about, you should go and check out Handlebars Bar and Grill. We are also sponsored by Oasis Root. Now, Oasis Root Carver Bar is in Sea Grape Square on Indiantown Rd, and it is a Carver bar. If you don't know anything about Kava, it's a Polynesian root that you grind up and you mix with water, and it has been in Polynesia for potentially thousands of years. It's an old thing that they used for kind of ceremonial and also sort of leisure purposes. It's meant to be something where, you know, that brings people together. You all take a shell of Carver and chink them together and say bula and have it together like that. It's meant to be something to bring people together. It's has a kind of an effect, which is, I guess, a kind of a slightly warming effect. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It's not particularly intoxicating. It's not like drinking alcohol. So the atmosphere in a Carver bar is sort of like a cross between a regular bar and a coffee house. It's pretty chill in there. You get all sorts of different types of Carver bars. Some of them are more like a club, you know, there's sort of like blacklight and EDM playing. And some of them are more like a cafe. This is one of the cafe type of ones. It's super chill in there. If you're looking for somewhere to, I don't know, maybe go and do some work on your laptop or go and have a chat with friends, it's perfect for that kind of thing. There's a foosball table in there if that's your jam, or baby-foot as they call it in France. And yeah, Jim, the owner, is a really cool guy, and he has very kindly sponsored our podcast. So thank you very, very much for that, Jim. They also do a poker night in there, all sorts of things going on at Oasis Root Carver Bar. 561 Music is brought to you by Live Music Community. It's the place that we're recording this podcast in right now. It is a school, but it's also a recording studio and a live streaming venue, and we can do all sorts of different things here. If you have any kind of project that you're trying to get off the ground, then we can film you and help you put together an EPK and record a demo for you. We can even record, you know, full albums if you want. We have all the resources here. We have a green screen so you can do interesting music videos and stuff like that, and some great equipment, some really nice Blackmagic cameras and proper recording equipment. But really the thrust of the place is that it is a school. So the main thing that we do is help young musicians from, you know, as young as 5 to really all the way through to adults, but we focus mainly on the young people, and we help them learn what it's like to be in a band. So we get them together and teach them all of individual lessons, but also in groups. And when we teach them in the groups, it's not just a question of teaching them how to play a whole load of covers. We help them learn how to write their own songs. We encourage them to make merchandise. We teach them of the things that could go wrong when they're at a gig, and all of the little things that you wouldn't necessarily think of that go into what it's like being in a band and how to be a band and how to be professional. And it's great. We've seen great success with these kids. They play fantastically. And I think not only is it a good thing for people who want to be in a band, just the life skills that go along with it in terms of working as a team and the courage to stand up in front of people to do something are invaluable. And we see these kids grow into amazing young adults. We've had a wonderful time doing this and really enjoy it. Justin, who runs the place, Justin Hucker, is a really inspirational leader of young people, I have to say, and I really enjoy seeing him work with them, and I'm proud to be one of his members of staff. We have it's Yaz and me and Justin and Mike Scott and Corey and Ryan are currently the members of the team, and we cover all the instruments. A few of us are multi-instrumentalists, and then we have Ryan, who pretty much focuses directly on drums. We've got pretty much everything across the board when it comes to teaching you how to be in a band, teaching you how to play your instrument, and yeah, so that's Live Music Community. Come by and check us out. We are at 9091 North Military Trail, number 8, and it's Palm Beach Gardens, Florida 33410. So if you're heading from West Palm Beach north on Military Trail, as soon as you go past North Lake on your left, just tuck into the first little plaza there on your left, and it's in the corner. Come and see us if you just want to come and have a look around. We're open from about 2 p.m. to about about around 8 or 9, or most days of the week, and then there's usually someone hanging around here on weekends too. So anytime you want to swing by, just come and see us, or if you want to give us a call, look us up online, just write Live Music Community and all of our details are there. The number is 561-951-6902. All right, thank you very much. So considering we're recording this at Live Music Community, do you have any advice for young musicians?
Yeah, I would say if you're really into music and you have your favorite band, pick out one of your favorite songs, look up a tutorial on YouTube, or even just doodle with it playing on and on, play it a couple times and try to see if some strings sound the same. That's how I started, just doodling with the song on, or, buy a book. Yeah. Books are your friends.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask for help either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was very stubborn when I started. I was like, nope, no, I got this.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah. So now I'm like, I'll buy a book. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Anything that helps.
Absolutely. Yeah, cool. So I really enjoyed listening to those 2 tunes you played. Could you tell us a little bit about what they were about?
Okay, so Sharp Knife, the first one I played, is actually about a woman who was found in the Delray sewer drainage.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so she was living down underneath the sewers in Delray, probably by Atlantic Avenue. She was living down there for 2 weeks.
Holy mackerel.
So it's I was working in Delray at the time, and I was like, you know what, I feel her pain. I don't know what she's going through, but I was like, I got to write something about this. So
yeah, right on.
she made the lyrics.
I mean, when you say they found her alive.
Yeah, no, she was screaming up to the manholes hey, is anybody up there? And then they asked her, they're like, how long you been down here? She's like, I don't know, 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Forget a song. I feel like we need to make a movie out of this.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's an amazing story. It's one of the best inspirations for a song we've heard yet on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, and then some of the lyrics are what if I didn't choose to change it? And it's basically saying you could change your own script in your life. Just because your life's going one way doesn't mean you can't change it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's what if I didn't choose to change it? Would we be in different places? You probably would if you changed it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just a story in that sense, and the second song, Iridescent, is, I guess, the self-titled song of my next EP coming out.
Yeah.
And it's basically just to, people that are feeling I can't even say this word, insignificant in their life. It's just to be hey man, don't forget your power. Don't forget you shine still. Don't forget. Just don't forget, man.
Yeah.
Don't forget, because it's so easy, especially as a musician with mental health and whatever crap you're going through, to be reminded you don't matter. Sure. And that's totally the opposite. Your music does matter. You have power. And that's why I became a musician. I was either going to go the skateboarding route or the musician route. I love skating, still do.
Cool.
But I was what can make more of an impact? What matters more? And I was something just led me to music.
Yeah, man.
And I was your music has power. So that's the whole kind of message. Don't forget you're iridescent.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, I respect that. I love that message. So I don't know if you were going to do this originally, but I thought your gear was really interesting, so I ended up taking some pictures of it. I think, why don't we take a look at it? Can you tell us a little bit about the pedals you got on there and why they're on there?
Okay, so the Boss, the red one there, that is a RC500. That's a looper. It's a 2-track looper.
Yeah.
Not all my whole set list I use loops, but a good 5-6 songs I'll stretch out, loop them for 5 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
That has built-in beats too. So sometimes if I'm need to just pick up the pace a little bit, the energy, I'll throw on a beat, throw some palm mutes in there, and have some sort of something going on other than just me standing there with the guitar.
Yeah.
And I love it. Eventually I'm going to upgrade, hopefully, to a better looper. But
oh, they're pretty good though.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Then I got the reverb pedal on there, which has got a bunch of cool different reverbs. I do a lot of Beatles stuff, so I'll throw on the spring reverb.
Oh, nice.
You know, it's just a little more old-fashioned, I guess you could say.
Sure.
The next is the Avalanche Run. I originally saw that pedal on the Tallest Man on Earth's pedal board,
Right.
and I'm such a nerd, so I was like, I gotta get the same one.
Yeah. You were telling me a little bit about it earlier. It sounds
So,
awesome.
Yeah, it's got a reverse delay on there, and then just another like swell kind of vibe, and I'll hook that up to like an expression pedal, so some of those like swells and like reverse delays sound really cool once you add that expression to it.
Yeah, wicked.
So my cousin put me onto that Flume overdrive pedal. I was
Right.
using like a Soul Food for a long
I
time.
quite like those.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It's just when you like pop them to go on, you hear that pop.
Yeah.
And that always like, I was like, oh man, that's so tacky to hear
Yeah.
it. That one's a really clean one.
Nice.
It's got some really, really good clean tones. I mean, I only play with an acoustic
Yeah.
right now. I do play with electric sometimes, but for acoustic, I mean, that will make it still sound like an electric. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I just got that OC5, that octave one, and
Yeah, I
that's
got one of those.
it's great for a soloist that you don't, if you're not really bringing too much bass to the table.
Hmm. Do you use it all the time? Do you have it on all the time?
Sometimes no. Like if I'm doing if I'm doing a song that someone originally played on like a ukulele, I'm not gonna put the bass on.
Right,
Like
yeah.
it's like you have to just play with it a little bit. But most of the time it's on.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just let it kind of fill it out in the low end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does-
Yeah, go on.
I was just going to ask, just educate me a little bit. Those octave pedals, do they?
Well, this one in particular, I know you're going to ask. This one in particular, it figures out what's the lowest note of your chord and it octaves that. So not all of them can do that, but this one can.
Okay, yeah, that was my question. If it was playing like a specific note, or if it was playing like an octave lower of your actual chord. But
of the fundamental
it
tone,
just takes that lowest note and octaves that
Mhm,
down.
yeah.
Oh, that's
It
amazing.
could also do an octave up, but that's just weird territory.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
yeah, that just gets weird.
And then I got the foot switch. So that foot switch will, if I want to put on a beat, it's linked to the looper.
Oh, cool.
And then if I want to scan up and down which settings I have, I'll use
Yeah.
that foot switch.
Okay,
and then
neat.
sometimes I use a crybaby wah pedal
Yeah.
just for like some reggae or just a little change in solo or whatever.
Do you find yourself playing a lot of reggae?
It's funny because since I moved down here, yes, way more.
yeah.
Someone's just like, we like reggae music, and then I, playing at the Square Grouper, it's always on.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in
yeah.
between breaks, I'm like, you know what? I gotta learn a couple at least. And
Yeah.
I've always loved like Bob Marley growing up and stuff. So I was like, okay, let's do it. I'm still
Yeah.
down to learn more, but it's like,
Was it today that you met with Ziggy Marley? When was that?
yeah. So today I met Ziggy Marley. It was
Holy
pretty
crap.
cool.
yeah.
So promoter friend of mine, DJ Ray, he was like, hey man, you want to do sound for Ziggy Marley today? And I was like, okay.
That's amazing.
So like, just helping him set up like some amps and stuff and running wires and whatever. He's like, can you bring 2 mic stands? I was like, okay.
Where
He's
was
like, this was at the Square.
Okay.
It's in West Palm.
Yeah.
So I went there, brought them. I'm like setting up the mic stands, and he like sat down. He's like, he wrote like a children's book, so he's like reading like a chapter from his children's book, and here he is like adjusting my mic stand. I was like, oh man, legend over here.
That's wild.
Yeah, and I told him, I was like, hey man, much respect, man. I grew up on all your dad's music.
Yeah.
Like, he was really good too.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was really cool. I mean,
Yeah, that's awesome.
a little starstruck today.
Ziggy's the original one to sort of be a of that generation to become an artist too, isn't he? I
Yeah.
think he was the first. I might be wrong, but I think he was.
I think out of like the whole clan of Marleys, he was the one that started like, okay, I'm taking my father's.
Taking the torch.
Yeah.
He's good. Yeah, I've seen him before. He's amazing. Yeah, wicked. So there was one other piece of gear that I want to ask you about, which is that microphone that you brought in.
Yes.
What's going on with these
the
guys?
Heil Sounds. That's a PR35.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for mics. I saw like a lot of like the Telefunken ones, and they looked great. And then I was like, I want to know which mic Tom York uses,
There
because
you
his
go.
voice is just so angelic. And
For sure.
so I did some research, went on the Radiohead group on Facebook,
Yeah.
got a million answers
That's-
right away.
Yeah.
And
They all
so-
said that, but hi.
Well, yeah, they were talking about like the big like AK-47s, the big giant condenser mics they use.
Right.
I don't remember, UK 47, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
But they named a bunch of them, and then this one he uses mostly live.
Oh, okay.
So then I went online and I was like, wow, he's actually using this in a lot of videos.
Yeah.
And so I went on Reverb, I got it used, and like it sounds great. I love
It's
it.
active, right?
Yeah.
But it's in like just the shape of a normal small condenser mic like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, so I think also Hale, that's his last name. He was one of the first inventors of the microphone.
Okay.
So it's like very trusted, like quality sound. He's only had like a couple of models. Like they don't come out with one like every few years. It's mostly like every 10 years.
I just know I'm gonna end up getting one now because every now and again a piece of gear comes through the gear corner that we do in this, and I'm like, just for example, there's this Keeley Dark Side pedal that someone brought in about 9 months ago, and I've just been salivating about it online, and finally I've got that. Now this is the next one in the queue. Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the not so secret part of that, this part of the show is that we say that we want to highlight the guests gear, but the truth is Ben's just shopping. So.
Yeah, it's smart. Have you seen those microcosms?
No.
It's really cool. I need to get one. They're like, it's like a looper, but it takes your sound and like arpeggiates it and all these crazy designs and like soundscapes.
Oh, Christ, now
I'm like, oh man, what can I go broke for?
Yeah, really. It's called a microcosm?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be checking that out.
I've seen a couple people in
Googling
West Palm.
tonight.
They're popping up.
Yeah, wicked.
But it's also like, how much do you want the pedal to do the work for you, and how much do you actually want to do the work?
I know, yeah.
I mean, I want the pedal to do all the work. So. I'm just saying.
I tried like a stripped down. I was playing at the Blind Monk last week, and I was like, you know what? Every time I bring the looper here and try all this crazy stuff, it's just such a small place. Like, why would you do it? And then I started thinking, I'm just going to do the broken down acoustic, throw in like a reverb pedal. And it came out so much better. It was like so much more receptive instead of like, I get it when you're at like the Square Grouper, like bigger shows. It's like, let me pull out all my artillery.
Yeah.
But the smaller stuff, I'm like, you know what? Playing broken down, it just feels so good.
Yeah.
Like after a while, after you've been like using so many pedals, it's just like.
Yeah. Every now and again, I'll just go out with my guitar and that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen that often because I'm a little bit of a sucker for gear, but every now and again I do just to test myself, see if I can do it.
Yeah. I've noticed too, like my tempo. I was like, I could keep tempo right now. Like, I didn't lose it.
That's awesome. So, have you got anything in the works? Anything coming up?
So I just got back from New York, probably about 3 weeks ago now. My cousin's in a band with his wife. It's called Kate Van Dorn.
Right.
They do like indie rock. It's really cool stuff. She's like the lead singer. He plays guitar for her, and he has a studio. That he's been like setting up, opening. He's got all the cool analog gear and all that. So he's like, come up here, we'll record your EP up here.
Wicked.
So I went up there. We recorded a bunch of stuff in the Hamptons. He has like he turned his plumbing studio into like a drum booth room. And,
oh, nice.
And a lot of the stuff we recorded near like my hometown where I grew up. So that was really cool. And
yeah, wicked.
We had some live drums on there, live bass. So in a sense, it is kind of like a band.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the next. It's like 4 tracks.
Okay.
It's based off the iridescent kind of the vibe, and I tried to use like colors and certain of those characteristics of the iridescent in each song.
Nice.
So also I just got I was telling you I got a camera.
Yeah.
I just got like a nice little Sony camera, so I'm like trying to like make like homemade like in the woods videos of like broken down acoustic sessions. I just got like that little wireless Rode mic.
Yeah.
So like you could film as far as you want away, but you still get the audio.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So I've been like experimenting a little bit, trying to like make more content and just wrap it all together. Master of no trade, but
that's what it's all about these days. Content. Gotta pump it out.
But also it's just nice to not like only have a guitar to do what you want to have fun with. Like,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's
It's nice to just be like, all right, I'm just gonna go take out my camera and take pictures of ducks.
Yeah, man. So it can do video as well, this camera then?
Yeah.
I'm
so.
going to take a look at those too. I'm leaving this podcast broke by the sounds of things. So, are you got any gigs coming up?
Yes. So this week was just this and that Ziggy thing.
Yeah.
But I think next week I'll be at Rosemary Square.
Okay.
Well, they call it the Square now.
Yeah.
They keep changing on me.
Right, yeah.
But and then I have Square Grouper in Fort Pierce coming up soon.
Cool.
they just line up. Like, it's like really whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I heard good advice from Ryan Tedder of One Republic, and he said, take what you can get until you can afford to say no.
Yeah.
So I've been running by that, you know, just like, hey,
Yeah.
I'll take it. Okay, we'll try to negotiate a little higher pay, but, you know,
Yeah, no,
at the end of the day, I'm like, yo, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So
I need to take that advice, man, because I don't say no to anything, but I can afford to say no, but I don't. And so I
Yeah.
find myself sometimes like working 24/7, like literally 24/7. There's been a
Yeah.
few times where we play a gig till 1 o'clock in the morning, and I leave and I go home and I work on a canvas project for an
Wow.
art thing, and you know, like 8 o'clock the next morning I'm delivering it, and then like 1 o'clock I'm picking these guys up for like an afternoon gig. It's like, yeah, it's
He's non-stop, man. A wise
awesome.
man once said to me, if you want something done, ask a busy person. And, you know, there's a lot of truth to that because because Hector he is perhaps busier than anyone I know, but by the same token, he still gets stuff done, you know. It's
That's
like,
good.
Yeah, it's cool. We're playing at Meg O'Malley's on Friday from 9 to 1 or something.
love
about
that place.
nice.
And then on Saturday from 3 to 6, we are at the Square Grouper in Jupiter. So
Yep.
that'll be fun. Yeah,
It's a good
just-
spot.
Yeah,
You-
absolutely.
Yeah.
You and James doing the duo.
Yeah, and then on Sunday, it's the jam at Handlebars.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm gonna
nice.
do so Handlebars Bar and Grill, the one of our sponsors. I organise a jam there, and it's on the fourth Sunday of every month. So it's this Sunday coming up.
Awesome. I
Yeah,
might have
absolutely.
to show up and do a couple of 80s too.
You absolutely should do
Nice.
that. It'd be fun. Yeah, yeah. You know, I'm sure you already know this because you will have heard the ad that was just on. But Handlebars is in Jupiter, so if anyone's in the Jupiter area, come and hang out and jam with me this Sunday. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, wicked. Well,
Nice.
thank you so much for coming
Thanks
on,
for
man.
having me. It's
Yeah,
great
man.
chatting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was a
our
blast,
pleasure.
man. Yeah, as always, everybody that's listening and watching, if you're watching, like and subscribe. There's a button on the bottom corner and on the top corner now. There's 2 buttons, so there's no
Nice.
excuse. It's subscribe, like, send us money. You know, small bills, unmarked. It's all good. It's all good. Make checks out to Hector.
How do they send us money?
They can go on our website, 561music.com, and that's where all the podcast actual episodes are, the audio episodes are, and there's a donate button there. If you go to the donate button, you can become a sponsor of the show if you have a business, and
Yes,
we
please.
would love that. Or you can just make a one-time donation, and you know, as always, all the money that we get in this podcast goes right back into the podcast. We have a social media person that we have to pay. We have the studio time we have to pay. We put on the festival that we did last year in
Yeah,
April that we're going to
so-
go ahead and do again this coming year in April.
Yep,
So
raising
you know,
money for that.
yeah, so I mean, all that money gets put into all this stuff, and it just helps us help you guys with the local scene. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so like and subscribe so we can monetize the YouTube channel and you know, just get this thing going a little rolling a little harder.
Yeah, absolutely. Put it there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You guys are doing great work so
Thanks,
far.
man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks for being on.
Peace out.
Talking about a scene, it's what we